How's it going, everybody? Chris Cart's back through the mail. Monday, 6 returns for you today. Our first one being from Columbia, South Carolina. Hope everyone out there had a great weekend. A little rainy here in the Pacific Northwest. Hopefully you put out a few of the fires around our state. And we've got some vintage to start this week's TTM off. We've got Charlie James. Charlie James on a 65 tops as well as a 62 tops inscribed with 64 World Series champion. Of course, the Cardinals won it all in 64. He played 6 years in the bigs. His final year is last year with the Reds. Outfielder, mostly a reserve. Still got that ring in 64. Pretty cool return from Charlie James. 87 years young. Still blows my mind every time I get some vintage back, thinking these guys are still out there signing away. So pretty awesome. There's the information. Great signer. And Charlie James, a 1962 tops card. Man, that's awesome. Looks good. 5 more to go, guys. Let's see who else we got. All right, return numero dos is from Illinois. And we've got a card saver in here. We've got Carlton Fisk back. Carlton Fisk back on a 74 tops all-star card, already signed by Johnny Bench. Fisk, of course, a Hall of Famer, inducted in 2000. 11-time all-star, 24-year big league career. Of course, drafted fourth overall in a 1967 draft by the Red Sox. The first and second picks of that draft only a combined 2 games in the major leagues. Of course, the third pick was the Mets and Ken Singleton, who had a pretty decent career. But yeah, Hall of Famer Carlton Fisk. Nice return from him. $50 a signature from Carlton Fisk. He's a very good TTM signer. Johnny Bench was via a private signing. I don't know how much he was. He probably was around $60 or $70, maybe a little bit more. Carlton Fisk, I have gotten before. $15 for inscriptions on the other cards I think I got, and I think I paid the freight for the inscriptions on those cards. They came out really nice. I think this is the last Fisk card I need for my sets. Nice to get this one completed. Looks awesome. Moving on, guys, to return number 3. We've got St. Louis, Missouri here for our next return, as we pull out a few cards of Ricky Horton. Ricky Horton there, your St. Louis Cardinals radio broadcaster. 89 upper deck for the set and 84 tops for the set. 89 tops thrown in just for good measure as a Dodger, the World Championship winning Dodger. Kind of a strange career. 7 years in the bigs, 6 of those with the Cardinals. He started and finished his career with the Cardinals. In between, of course, 85-87, he lost a World Series with the Cardinals. In 88, he won a World Series with the Dodgers. He only got into 12 games with the Dodgers in 1988. He's actually started his 88 season with the White Sox, got into 52 games for the White Sox before finishing his 88 campaign with the Dodgers, and he started his 89 campaign with the Dodgers, 23 games with the Dodgers before ending back up on the Cardinals. So kind of a whirlwind affair. Never got it done with the Cardinals, but did win it all with the 1988 World Champion Dodgers. Nice return from Ricky Horton. Sent this to the stadium and addressed it, of course, to him, as you can see here. Nice return. Nice to get these 2 cards signed for the set. He does sign pretty regularly. It's very hit and miss. Sometimes it's a pretty quick return, and sometimes you just got to kind of forget about it, and then when you get it, you're surprised because it takes a while sometimes. So Ricky Horton, nice to get this one done. Cool return from this former pitcher. Let's move on, guys, to our next return. All right, gang. Return numero 4 from Syracuse, New York. And we've got Reed Brignac here. Reed Brignac, a long time Tampa Bay Devil Ray. Spent 9 years in the bigs, 5 with the Rays, and then he spent a host of years with various other teams, including the Phillies, Rockies, the Indians, the Yankees, and the Braves. Nice return from Reed Brignac. No rhyme or reason to this send-off. I just had these cards, and he signed, so I sent them. They look really nice. Of course, part of those mid-2000s pretty sweet-looking cards before Topps pretty much dominated and took over every card company, although it looks like it's just Bowman on this return in Topps. So maybe not so, but still cool-looking cards, including a couple of gold cards from Reed Brignac. Reed, of course, now the Double-A manager of the Binghamton Rumble Ponies. There, I got it out. Of course, the Mets Double-A affiliate. Married to Miss July 2002, Lauren Anderson. Good for you, Reed. And funny YouTube clip from MLB of him getting revenge, a walk-off against the Mets, and I don't know what year it was, but he looked awful in his previous at-bat, and he looked awful in his first 2 swings of the next at-bat before walking off the Mets. So check that out if you want to hear the crowd catcalling in the 14th inning. Remember when extra inning games used to go 14 innings? And that was pretty funny. That's all I can remember about Reed Brignac. But nice return from him. Moving on, guys, to return number 5. All right, friends, return number 5 coming to us from Nashville 10IC. And we got a thank you on the back of this envelope, as you can see me fumbling it around as I try to hold it in my hands. So we got some answered questions back here, hopefully. Sometimes they answer them, sometimes they don't. They just send it back. Looks like we got some ink on there from Howard Johnson. Howard Johnson, 2-time World Series champion, 84 with the Tigers, 87 with the Mets. Of course, he was the first-round pick, 12th overall in a 1979 draft by the Tigers, and didn't really sign it where I wanted him to sign it. Maybe I should have. That's not good. Mets Hall of Fame inscription on the 87 tops. I think I have the 87 tops already with 86 World Series champions, but I wanted to send him this one and get a Mets Hall of Fame inscription as well. So he's, of course, on the team leader card, the Mets leaders card on the left. I was hoping he'd sign the left. I could get Darryl Strawberry to sign the front, and then maybe Keith Hernandez to sign the right side of the card. Going to be very difficult. How it's lined up now, Darryl, I guess, could sign underneath Howard. Of course, Gary Carter not going to be able to get, but I thought 3 out of 4 would be pretty cool for the set. Not trying to spend a bunch of money, get it fully completed with Gary. Of course, Gary was my favorite player growing up. I used to be a super collector of Gary Carter. Let's see what his question is here. How many autograph requests do you get in a week or a month? He says probably around 8 or 9 per week, sometimes more, sometimes less. And I asked him if he had any pet peeves regarding, of course, signing, and he said it's no bother. He enjoys doing it. So there you guys go. Nice return from Hojo, $10 a card. There's my blurry photo of him. Hojo, $10 a card. Guess I should have been more specific. When you're paying money, you know, you should probably be more specific on where you wanted to sign it. But you know what? I can maybe make this work. It'd be a little bit expensive because Strawberry is going to be a little bit of money. I mean, Strawberry's got to be the one guy you get on the card because he's front and center. So Keith would be fun to get on the card as well. So that's my 87 Mets team leader card musings. Let me know if you guys have any ideas or any suggestions. Let's move on, guys. We got one more envelope to open, and let's see who it is. All right, gang. Final return of the day here from Pensy. And we got Larry Bowa on an index card. Larry Bowa, great signer. And I sent him a grip of cards. Don't yell at me. 5 cards to Larry Bowa. There he is with the World Series card. Of course, Phillies beat Royals in 6. 1980 World Series champion Larry Bowa there. Frank White. Big play there. Frank White does sign through Pass Pros for 10 or 15 bucks or something like that. So I can get that card completed, which is kind of my thought going into sending off to Larry Bowa once again. Nice return from Larry. Of course, 16-year career, 12 with the Phillies. Also spent 4 years with the Cubs, and of course 14 games with the Mets because the Mets just need to pick everybody up off the scrap heap at the end of their career, and that's what they did with him. And he got 14 games in for the Mets in August of 1985, I think. Of course, longtime manager. Of course, manager of the year back in 2001 for the Phillies. Phillies Hall of Fame or Wall of Fame or whatever sort of Hall of Fame they have in Philadelphia for the Phillies. Nice return from Larry Bowa, longtime coach, longtime manager, longtime player. Did everything in baseball for many, many years. And these cards came out looking good. Great signer. Another TTM Hall of Famer, Larry Bowa. And that is it, my friends. Put it in the books. Another successfully completed through the mail Monday number 343. There's this week's haul. Lucky that Ricky Horton didn't have an 89 Upper Deck traded card or a high number card, which is strange. I didn't get a card with him on the White Sox, of course. I think there's a few 88 White Sox cards out there of Mr. Ricky Horton. But missed it for the 89 update, just one card in Upper Deck. I guess it could have been cool if he had 2 cards because I would have got both signed, but Ricky's one of those guys that's a little tricky to get signed. So glad I got the Ricky Horton done for the set. That's probably my most favorite return. Of course, that Frank White autograph on that Phillies and Royals World Series card is going to look pretty sweet. So that is it, my friends. A little late on this week's Through the Mail Monday, and I'm going to tell you why. Actually, it's Monday. It's Monday at noon as I'm doing. It's noon Eastern, which means it's like 3 Eastern already, and there's no Through the Mail Monday, and it's going to be another hour because I got to encode it and I've got to upload it, and it takes a long time because it's in 4K, very high resolution. Hopefully, it comes across high. I know this video software. I'm at my wit's end, and I get weird audio artifacts and weird glitches and all sorts of stuff when I listen back or watch back the video, and I'm just like, man, what? I don't know what the deal is, but like I said, they stopped supporting this. Video editor, Pinnacle 24, probably 4 or 5 years ago. So maybe I should have figured that out before I went and bought it, although it was pretty cheap. But anyway, it doesn't matter. So what happened, of course, I want to thank everyone for the nice well wishes last week with the Russell tribute video. Now been gone a full week and a week and about 3 days. So 4 days. So I've been dealing with that as executor of his estate, which sounds a lot fancier than it really is. But there is a lot of stuff involved. I guess it's going to take a 7-8 month process. In fact, I just got off the phone with a lawyer a little earlier ago. I just want to make sure all my I's are dotted and T's are crossed and make sure I do this properly. Although, quite frankly, after I got done talking to him, I said to myself, man, I could probably do this stuff myself. But you know what? Didn't want to screw anything up. You know, there's an expensive house involved. There's all sorts of stuff involved, and I just didn't want to screw it up. So I want to do everything by the book, basically. So one of those things is he made me caretaker of his cat, his cute little kitty cat, Ruru, when he lived in California before he moved up during COVID to Oregon and bought his house. He had his roommate who was named Rick, and Rick had that. And pretty much when Russell moved in, he lived in Walnut Creek with Rick. They had a pool. He had a nice kind of house. Rick had brain damage. He had a brain injury from a motorcycle accident back in, I think, the early 2000s. So Rick was he was all there. He was pretty good, but his communication wasn't that great, and he was kind of quiet. But I met him a few times. He's a cool guy. Really a good deal for Russell because he didn't ask for much in rent down there, and Russell pretty much had the run of the house plus like 2 extra rooms, and Rick pretty much kept his room and just the kitchen, and that's about it. He had a pool out there, and of course we would barbecue outside by the pool and go into the pool, and it was a really good place for Russell to live down there. Of course, just being in Northern California, he was very upset he couldn't buy anything, even at what he was making. He couldn't afford to buy a house and have any equity or do anything like that. So that's why I moved up to Oregon during COVID, basically, working for Ameriprise Financial. And he's like, they closed their office down. And of course, you need to have a local office when you have a bunch of clients with a bunch of money, and you have to meet with them every now and then. So since the office was closed, he basically just bought a house, and his boss was like, well, yeah, I can't really make you stay here because our office is closed and you can't meet with anybody. So everything was phone calls. So he moved to Oregon, moved about a mile from me. So and part of what happened was Rick passed away. I think Rick had a stroke and went to the hospital, and they thought he might make it, but he kind of died in the hospital. So Russell inherited the cat. And so Russell had to find a new place to live, which was pretty expensive. It was a pretty cool place to live, but it was a lot more expensive. I think it was $1,800 a month for a room down there, and which is actually not that bad in the Bay Area. But yeah, once again, Russell was very upset. He just didn't have anything, so couldn't build anything, couldn't own a house or anything down there. It was just everything was way too expensive, and he did pretty good. So frustrating when you're making enough money to think you could get a house and you still can't get a house. So he inherited the cat, and he was down there for about 6 months in that house, renting a room. And the guy was like, he'd travel for months at a time, so he pretty much had the run of the house. So that was kind of cool. I went down there, I think, for a Sears Point NASCAR Infineon. Choose your name for that track down there. I went down there for a race down there when he was living there. And then, the cat came with him up to Oregon, and the cat's not too old. I think we figured out he was like 9 or 10 years old, and or she. It's a girl. So we gathered up the cat. So the cat was it's in North Albany, and I'm in Salem. So it's about a half-hour trip one way. It's about an hour round trip to feed the cat. So we were feeding the cat every other day and feeding him enough food. And cat's been by itself since Russell passed. So really wanted to figure out what to do with the cat. So we had a girlfriend down there. They were on again, off again, girlfriend, boyfriend, and she kind of remarried her husband a couple years ago, but they still talk literally every day. And then she said, and she's a cat sitter, so she drives around town and watches cats or feeds cats for people that are on a vacation or on trips or something. So she said she'd take the cat, and I said, on Saturday morning, I said, great. My wife was at work for a couple hours, and she's like, when I get off, we should just go do it. And I'm like, yeah, let's do it. Let's get the cat, drive down there to San Ramon, California. 8 hours and 40 minutes it took us. We got there Saturday night at about 11 o'clock, stayed the night in San Ramon, headed back on Headed back Sunday morning, yesterday. Watched the Met game on Saturday. Sunday we couldn't watch the Met game because it was on ESPN, so I actually haven't watched that yet. So I'm kind of looking forward to seeing it. The Little League Classic or whatever playing at Williamsport, so that's going to be kind of cool to watch. I don't know if the Mets are going to do any good or not, but I'm still looking forward to seeing it because the Mets did win their game on Saturday, so, it's crazy when a team is doing terrible and they win a game, all of a sudden you just got that hope back and you're like, you know what, I'm not dreading the next game, I'm kind of looking forward to it. So you can lose 10 games in a row, win one game and kind of get some hope back, and that's kind of what baseball does to you. Anyway, rambling here, sorry. So yeah, we drove back up from Northern California. Here's some beautiful stock footage I took along the way. Very nice drive. All in, I put the stats right here. It was like 1,100 something miles. It was about 17 plus hours. We stopped at a couple of casinos in honor of Russell, and actually did pretty good. Actually, I didn't do very good. I played Ultimate Texas Hold'em, and I think I lost each place. I lost, I was almost down 300 in one place, but then I ended up only down 100, which kind of feels like a win when you're down 3 and you leave down 1. But my wife hit a major on one of her slot machines. She $500 something, so she did good there. She actually grabbed the scratch hit at Poppy. We went to Poppy and got some scratch hits. Like, can I get some scratches? I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever. And she's got a $40. I'm like, that's a $40 scratch hit. She's like, they don't have $40 scratches in Oregon. I'm like, yeah, it doesn't mean you have to buy one when you see one in California. But she did, and she won like $85 on it. So I'm like, okay. So this is our good luck trip. So we rehomed Russell's cat, Ruru, and we got a nice little video from Katie in the morning. It sucks driving that far. And I was hauling because I'm like, you got a meowing cat in the back, and she's got to eat, and she's got to pee and poop, and you're like, I just need to get down there as soon as possible. So it was stressful. We pretty much didn't waste any time getting down there, dropping her off, and she was, of course, the cat, I'm sure, was miserable all the way down. So we got her unboxed in her house, and we got video from her early in the morning. So very happy to see the cat happy and purring and in her new home. So nice to get that taken care of and to stop worrying about that. Now we got to let the probate process take its course, and however long that takes, and then we just need to figure out what to do with all of Russell's stuff. And he's got a lot of stuff, so, and we'll see some of it here on the channel because it's some baseball stuff too. So we'll check out some of Russell's collection, see what he had. Anyways, that's it, guys. That was it. Got back late Sunday night. Of course, we would have got back at about 10 o'clock, and then we stopped at a couple casinos for an hour each maybe, and then we got back maybe at like we got back at like 1 o'clock. So I was going to get home and finish the video because I had started it. I had opened up a couple envelopes and I was going to finish it later, and then I didn't. I was going to do it last night. We got home, we were so tired, we're like, yeah, I'm going to bed, I'm doing it in the morning. So it is not the morning yet, but it is now 12:20 Pacific Standard Time as I'm recording this. And so there you guys go. That is why we've got a late start, but the cat is in good hands. You saw some video of her. She's super cute. Glad she's now in a new home. I'm glad we don't have to drive over to Russell's house anymore and take care of his cat. Now we just have to worry about his nosy neighbors and making sure the place is secure, and of course letting the probate and courts do their thing as we're hopefully end up taking care of all this stuff and have it resolved quickly. And yeah, thanks for staying with me, guys. Thanks for all the well wishes last week. It was a tough video to make. I know it was kind of a weird video, super weird video. And I didn't know if I should have done it or not, but you know what? I didn't care because he loved my videos. So yeah, he was pretty. You go back to the July 4th video. I took some video. I took some video on our back porch of the fireworks, and I said I think early on in the video I was gonna show you some of that video at the end of the video, and I didn't. I totally forgot to put that video at the end of the July 4th video, and then the only person, of course, in the comments that called me on it was Russell. He's like, "Hey, there was no video," and I was like, "Oh." He's like, "No fireworks," or he said something like that. I was like, "Oh, that's right." So I put it on the next video, and then I think he said, "Yay, fireworks!" So just ridiculous. Yes, thank you for the well wishes. He was a great friend. 25 years friendship, and I'll never be able to duplicate that. Being almost 47 years old now, I'm not going to have another 25-year friendship in my lifetime. So We had all sorts of things planned out for the rest of the year. We were going to the the Xfinity race here at the end of a month here at Portland. We're going to go to the NASCAR race up there. I think it was the Xfinity Series is up there on Saturday, Sunday, or something like that, or Saturday for sure. And then we did that last year. We went Saturday, and then we drove down to Sears Point and did a NASCAR race in the rented RV, which we did, which was super cool. So, yeah, that's it. Thanks, guys, for watching. I'll see you Friday. I will start with my my update videos once again. We got 87 tops and 84 tops coming up. One of those two are going to be on Friday. Stay tuned for that. Thanks for watching, gang, and see ya.